have been working together for 15 years now, and in a way we've always been interested in how photography affects our view of nature.
This vivid, super saturated, perfect landscape photograph. Our screens are flooded with this nature porn, and in a way that inspires us.
But there is ways that landscapes and natural phenomena are supposed to be depicted. There's these rules how nature should look in a photograph.
We try to break the generic landscape photograph. We try to break that down into pieces that we can then rearrange in a way. And often we end up with something that is way over the top, too much. Putting the sunset on top of a palm tree. To do something that is fantastic and really draws you in, but at the same time points to the impossible and maybe absurd.
It can sometimes be hard to know if your view of a certain landscape or nature phenomena is actually based on your real experience or just that you've seen those images so many times before and they kind of top the real memory in a way. Photography is such a big way of experiencing nature nowadays. Sometimes it feels like it's the goal itself, to go somewhere and experience the surrounding, but through the lens. And in our work, Family Portraits, we travel with our kids and take self-portraits in nature, only that we wear these reflective suits that bounce the light from the flash back to the camera and makes us radiant, anonymous, any family basically. So the camera that was supposed to capture us then erases us and leaves nature.
We started this project in 2015 when our first son was born, but the series is still ongoing today, and we like the fact that you can see time passing in the images.
And the growing of the silhouettes and the adding of one more person and the same setting, but the silhouettes and the landscapes are changing. And the manipulations in the photograph are all made in the moment of the exposure. We work a lot with different techniques, materials and actions that are only visible through the camera. And we like the fact that even for us standing next to the camera, we couldn't see it with the naked eye, but that scene was in that sunset fade or glowing in that particular way. But the only way to experience it was through the photograph.
Yeah. So the sculptures, the objects, it has to do with the whole technique that we are actually dipping objects into a floating version of a photograph. That's really poetic that you can dip stuff into a photograph. But it also has to do with abstraction, of course. Even though we try to make everything in the photograph as photographically correct as possible, meaning that it's sharp, the colors, the saturation, the contrast, and so on. When the photograph ends up on the object, it loses a lot of its photographic qualities. So much so that it's hard for us to say if it's any longer a photograph. And the sculpture part, the shape, I would say that the shape is not that deliberate in a way. So what we end up with, to us, is something that is not a photograph and is not really a sculpture either.
It's its own matter in a way.
Yeah.
And they bring energy
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, they do.